Origin, gents, what almost you reaction, and this is the philosophy of Stoicism. Stoicism, yeah. Massimo Pigliucci. I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to pronounce that, but it's on TED. This is about Stoicism. This is what's called. I don't know what that is, but philosophy or something. Somebody said in the comments of some video that react to this, and the name sound like it's gonna be fun. So why the hell not? I have no idea what this is gonna be. So yeah. Remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. Did this link in the description. Check out the cards for the playlist. Check out the end cards. And yeah, let's watch this one.
You've been stranded thousands of miles from home with no money or possessions. Such a predicament would make many people despair and curse their awful fate. But for Zeno of Cyprus, it became the foundation of his life's work and legacy. The once wealthy merchant lost everything when he was shipwrecked in Athens around 300 BCE. With not much else to do, he wandered into a bookshop, became intrigued by reading about Socrates, and proceeded to seek out and study with the city's noted philosophers. As Zeno began educating his own students, he originated the philosophy known as Stoicism, whose teachings of virtue.
Philosophy was a strong thing back then. Socrates was just few, centuries ago, I guess, during this time. And the philosophy of that time was a strong thing. So people reflected a lot after something happened. So, something happened like that to him. And it's like, to survive, first of all, I need to keep my cool. So I think that's what he did. And then he started to think about like how to approach this. Obviously, nowadays, most people would just get pissed off, just become more cynical. So yeah, I still don't know what this is about, but yeah, the video is going to tell us.
Virtue, tolerance, and self-control have inspired generations of thinkers and leaders. The name Stoicism comes from the Stoa Poikile, the decorated public colonnade where Zeno and his disciples gathered for discussion. Today, we colloquially use the word stoic to mean someone who remains calm under pressure and avoids emotional extremes. But while this captures important aspects of Stoicism, the original philosophy was more than just an attitude.
The person who can do that, keep his cool even when the environment is becoming more chaotic, angry, and person can just keep his cool. That says a lot about the person's, mentality and stability. That just shows that the girl, whatever, is unfazed. And, having that trait alone makes you look more stronger, I guess. But it's not easy trait to have. You can't just, you have to put real hard work into, training yourself to be like that. And even then, it might not work. Keeping a cool is not that easy.
Stoics believed that everything around us operates according to a web of cause and effect, resulting in a rational structure of the universe, which they called logos. And while we may not...
I don't believe that. Anybody who's, basically saw the events of the world, events of the universe, would just basically come to the conclusion that there is no pattern to anything, there is no karma, there is no nothing, it's all random and chaotic. I don't know if I might be misunderstanding this point, but I think this just says that everything has a cause and effect. That's what it means. Like everything happens for a reason, karma and things like that. If this means that, then that's just wrong. Because, people like, let's say, Mengele, that Nazi torturer. Basically, he tortured lots of kids, did really unspeakable things. And what happened in the end? He just went to Argentina and died of an old age at 70 or something. He never got caught. He never got punished. So, everything happens for a reason. There is cause and effect. There is karma. No, everything's just random.
Always have control over the events affecting us. We can have control over how we approach things.
Yeah, that is true.
Rather than imagining an ideal society, the Stoic tries to deal with the world as it is, while pursuing self-improvement through 4 cardinal virtues.
Yeah, that point right there is really important because that is how a person should look. Rather than trying to create a perfect world, see the world as it is and act accordingly. So that is the more realist view, I guess.
Practical wisdom, the ability to navigate complex situations in a logical, informed, and calm manner. Temperance, the exercise of self-restraint and moderation in all aspects of life. Justice, treating others with fairness even when they have done wrong. And courage, not just in extraordinary circumstances, but facing daily challenges with clarity and integrity.
Yeah, these 4 points are really important. I feel like wisdom is hard. People think they're wise, but they are most time are blinded by some form of bias that they don't realize in any areas. They don't realize it until very late of age, or even they don't realize at all. They live their whole lives and they don't even realize it. So wisdom is not some easy thing to come by. Wisdom doesn't just mean knowing about something, having the ability to know and navigate to what is right and what is not. Sometimes you can have a bias and you feel that what you think about certain thing is true, but you might be wrong and you won't even realize. So wisdom is hard. Temperance is even more hard. Having your cool is not just something that just happens. That is extremely hard. Justice, that is easier than the first two things. You can just have your view, like always be just. And courage is hard, but not as hard as the first two, I guess. Wisdom and temperance.
Integrity. As Seneca, one of the most famous Roman Stoics, wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage."
Yeah, that's
but
true.
While Stoicism focuses on personal improvement, it's not a self-centered philosophy. At a time when Roman laws considered slaves as property, Seneca called for their humane treatment and stressed that we all share the same fundamental humanity. Nor does Stoicism encourage passivity. The idea is that only people who have cultivated virtue and self-control in themselves can bring positive change in others. One of the most famous Stoic writers was also one of Rome's greatest emperors. Over the course of his 19-year reign, Stoicism gave Marcus Aurelius the resolve to lead the empire through 2 major wars, while
Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic? Damn, I didn't know that.
dealing with the loss of many of his children. Centuries later, Marcus's journals would guide and comfort Nelson Mandela through his 27-year imprisonment during his struggle for racial equality in South Africa. After his release and eventual victory, Mandela stressed peace and reconciliation, believing that while the injustices of the past couldn't be changed, his people could confront them in the present and seek to build a better, more just future. Stoicism was an active school of philosophy for several centuries in Greece and Rome. As a formal institution, it faded away, but its influence has continued to this day. Christian theologians such as Thomas Aquinas have admired and adopted its focus on the virtues.
Yeah.
And there are parallels between Stoic ataraxia, or tranquility of mind, and the Buddhist concept of nirvana. One particularly influential Stoic was the philosopher Epictetus, who wrote that suffering stems not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them.
Yeah,
this has
that's
resonated
true.
strongly with modern psychology and the self-help movement.
Oh, that is so good that somebody should make a teaser out of that. We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. Yeah, events that happens to you, you basically don't have any power over that, but you do have a power over what you do, your judgment. That is true. People get haunted by their decision, what they did in their life, rather than anything else.
Self-help movement. For example, rational emotive behavioral therapy focuses on changing the self-defeating attitudes people form about their life circumstances. There's also Viktor Frankl's logotherapy. Informed by Frankl's own time as a concentration camp prisoner, logotherapy is based on the Stoic principle that we can harness our willpower to fill our lives with meaning, even in the bleakest situations.
Damn, that's a powerful weapon. I didn't know what Stoicism was, but this is really important. People should learn about this. This gives you power even at the darkest time. This is good, man. You know what? I'm gonna learn more about this. This is a powerful weapon, basically, because nowadays people depression is high throughout the world. Even even though what we are as a technological species, we are getting better throughout the world. Basically, people are less hungry than they used to. Obviously there are lots of hungry and poor people, but compared to the past decades and even centuries, it's less now, and yet depression is rising. So this is a good weapon to have, man. Even the darkest time could give you, I guess, strength. Alright, that was the philosophy of Stoicism. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cast world playlist, check out the end cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.